Hey everyone, it's Robin Lee with the Nexus Impact Center, and I am super excited to start sharing our tips daily with you this week. So we are going to start with tips 1 through 5 today, talking about hacks and then one best practice. So before we get started, I think we probably all heard or read articles about how important it is to make sure you have light on your face, your camera's at eye level, you don't have too distracting of a background, and sound. But there's one thing that I think is just as important as all of that and will really transform your virtual event. So give me 1 second because I'm going to show you. All right, so is that better? Yes, I turned a light on. That's the only physical thing I changed other than I stood up. So when you did live events and you walked into a room of 30, 50, 500 people, did you sit down to talk to them? Probably not. And the reason is because speakers have more energy when they are able to stand and have freedom of movement. So our first tip is to stand up. All right, tip number 2. Thinking again about the energy that speakers get. We all know if you have been a speaker, you get energy from the audience, being able to see their faces. Are they following along? Do you need to slow down? Are they laughing when you say something funny? But one of the problems that we have with Zoom is we flip over to share our screen. We might have it in a speaker mode and at most have a few people down the side. So this hack I love because I do like seeing the audience. Set up a dummy computer. We probably all have some old computers laying around that can at least connect to the internet, log it into your meeting separately from what your presentation is. So you can set that computer up in a gallery view, hook it up to a TV and set it in front of you. And then you can see whether your Zoom allows you to do 25 or 50, you can see your participants while you are presenting, and it will make a huge difference because it'll allow you to engage with them and say things like, what are you drinking there, Marcus? Hey, I like that sweater, Susie. Just some of those things that you would say if you were live with them. So tip number 2 is to set up a dummy computer in a gallery view so you can see your audience. All right, tip number 3 has to do with the larger events that you're having. So maybe you have 100, 500, 1,000. So Zoom will go up that high. You can, for 1 month, just pay and increase your guest capacity on Zoom to 500 just for $50 or to 1,000, I believe, for $90. So you're like, okay, I can't set up that many screens and TVs. But what the trick is say you have 5. You have 5 larger screens that you can set up. So again, you are logging each one of those in as a different participant so you can show a different gallery. So you're going to show maybe 1 through 50 on this one, 51 through 100 here, so on and so forth. And then you have essentially set up a virtual stadium. Now you're like, great, except I only have 5 TVs. That's only 250 people. I'm going to have more like 500 people at my event. There's a trick to that too. So usually those events are a little bit longer. They're more than 45 minutes or an hour and you have a break. So when you take your break, simply switch your gallery view on each screen to a different gallery view. So if you have 5 screens, and even if you just have 1 break, you can see 500 people over the course of your event. And this is very important for engagement because you're going to be encouraging your people to turn on their cameras and to engage in the content and being able to point them out and acknowledge them and say minor things like I just said a minute ago, or if we're going to talk about tools tomorrow as well, and using emoji panels and acknowledging those things is going to enhance their experience. So tip number 3 is setting up more of a virtual stadium for your larger events. All right, tip number 4. So I was starting to notice that some of the better events I was going to had a dedicated chat host. So that if you have a second person, because I know a lot of people are running solo, I think that is a great idea. But again, something to make that even better is I think that sometimes the speakers miss out on that when there is a dedicated chat host and again, they have their one screen and their presentation and it's hard to follow everything. So my recommendation is have the speakers always set up their cell phone and log it in separately as a participant from what they have their computer. So that way their computer can be on their presentation, they have their audience that they can see, and then on their cell phone, like I'm looking at mine right now, it's on a little arm, it's logged in as a separate participant, and it only has the chat screen on it. I have it really close because I don't have great vision, so I need it close so I can read it. And the intent is not for me to type into the chat and interact that way, but if I'm speaking and I can look down and see people think I'm going too fast, or there are a whole lot of questions about this, then I can pause and react to that because I can see it really easily by having a dedicated chat screen. So tip number 4 is have your speaker pull up a dedicated chat screen on another device close by. All right. Tip number 5, this one isn't so much a hack as much as a best practice, but I was noticing again in some of the better events I went to a virtual event on virtual events and a few weeks ago, and they were so smoothly just transitioning between slides and speakers, and when they'd have someone ask a question, they would pull them up side by side like they did with the speakers, and it was smooth. And I was like, how are they doing that? So they gave their tip away, and it is to get a switcher, a little switcher. This is called the ATM Mini. This is what they recommended. It was only $300. And this device, I haven't tried it out yet. We're going to try it on Friday in the live webinar, is supposed to allow you to switch between all of those things much more smoothly. So again, I think this is more for if you're going to have a conference or you're going to have a little bit longer event and you're really wanting that higher quality and things to be more smooth. So we're going to try that out on Friday and see how it works at our live webinar. Tomorrow, we are going to do 5 more tips about engagement, getting your audience there and getting them to engage once they show up. So I will see you tomorrow.